sprawling metropolis that is Otto, Ohio. This is Don Kissick with another message for my fellow Ohio Libertarians. For the few of you who are not aware, this past weekend, the Libertarian Party of Ohio Central Committee held our post-primary elections, electing new officers for Central Committee as well as a new administration for our Executive Committee. On a personal note, I am very excited to tell you all about my election to Vice Chair for CENTCOM, but even more so, I really want to touch on the election of Bob Fry as Central Committee Chair. As I have tackled both at this past meeting and on other occasions, especially online, that I've been sharply critical of LPO leadership over the last couple of years. And during that time, it's been very tumultuous for the party. We've lost a number of good people, and it has been my stance throughout that period that one of the best ways to try and get us back on the right track was put some fresh faces in key positions of leadership. And I believe that the election of Bob Fry as CENTCOM chair will go a long way to bringing back, I'm hoping, a number of the members who have walked away from the party with all the upheaval that we were experiencing. Now, really, the kind of members that we need fall into one of three general categories. The first one, the one we typically interact with most often, are those the activists. These are the boots on the ground kind of people who get out there and they circulate petitions, they hand out literature. They're the ones manning booths at county fairs, the state fair. They're also the organization builders. These are the folks who can really look at the people who are coming in, the people who are a part of the party, and try and figure out where they best fit, where to use their skills and their talents, and as well as just develop new ideas for various positions to really get the most important tasks done. And then, of course, there are the members with deep pockets. Sometimes they participate in the other two categories, but they really help keep things running. We're a political party, so money's what moves politics in America, let's face it. I'm really hoping that with not just the election of Bob Fry, myself as vice chair, and some of the new faces we have in our executive committee, that altogether this whole package of some changes that I believe were, really on the positive side will help kind of not just bring back the old people that we've lost. I really believe can contribute to our growth and our effectiveness in getting people elected, which is why we are here in the first place. But also then, as we continue to build and grow, we can continue to bring in new faces, brand new people who are tired of the two-party system. We had several new individuals join us and take some of the vacant seats on Central Committee. People with some very interesting skill sets, very clear vision of why they are libertarian, and that also has me very excited for the future. And with all of these things combined, I can say something for the first time in 2 years that I hadn't been able to say, and that is, I am confident in the Libertarian Party of Ohio and our ability to fulfill all our missions, to win elections, to really change the conversation on politics and governance in Ohio and beyond through the rest of the country. I'm really eager to work with Bob Fry and try and really move the LPO into a new era of operation. To go back and talk about my election as vice chair, one of the things I want to reiterate is my dedication to transparency. I'm not just talking about just transparency as far as executive committee and communicating what they're doing, what their actions are to CENTCOM, but also I think one of the things that has kind of dragged us down a little bit is a little too much behind closed doors politicking. Now, I'm sure that probably comes across as naive. We're a political party. It's politics. I get it. But I want to throw this idea out there, and I want a point that I really want everyone to take into consideration is if one of our goals to become successful is to distinguish ourselves from the other two parties, I really believe that means we've got to distinguish ourselves in how we conduct our internal business, and transparency in some of the behind the scenes actions, at least transparency for other Central Committee members, the primary decision makers, that parliamentary body, as I described in Saturday's meeting. If we want to build that confidence, build that trust in the general electorate, we need to set ourselves apart in as many positive ways as we can. I believe this is one of them. So I'm not going to sit there and make a whole lot of demands or outlandish promises. What I'm going to do is focus on leading by example in that regard. I'm going to stay away from private, behind the scenes conversations. Because if nothing else, it's this kind of activity that leads to the rise of factions within any entity, with any operation, such as a political party. And that was one of our stumbling points here in the last couple of years. An excellent example of factions, of just that division that started to come, was this notion that came out about 2 years ago called the Unity Caucus. Didn't work out very well. Let's not do that again. So I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Before I forget, tomorrow is Arbor Day, so get out there and hug a tree, or probably more accurately, go out and sexually harass a tree, since I'm not aware of any instances when a tree has given explicit consent for such personal contact. Thank you for your time, and may peace, faith, and liberty be yours throughout this day and the next.